Hey, welcome back to the Game Closet for part 4 of must-have games for your Atari 2600 Plus. I am your host, Dr. Scott, and I'm very happy you stopped by. Since 1977, yes, 1977, the Atari 2600 has brought a lot of video game fun to millions of homes all over the world. And with the Atari 2600 Plus release coming up in November, I thought it would be a great idea to go over some of the better titles that I feel are must-have games for your Atari gaming pleasure. There's a Game Closet Atari playlist at the end of this video you can click on if you would like to review parts 1, 2, and 3. The links are also in the description below. Plus, an exclusive part 5 will be available for Game Closet Patreon members very soon. That's exclusive just to them. Additionally, since the Atari 2600 Plus can play 7800 titles, there will be a 7800 must-haves video in the coming weeks. So do me a favor and make sure that you're subscribed to Game Closet so you won't miss out on anything new. Plus, hit that like button real quick too if you would. It really helps out the channel and it lets YouTube know that this video should be seen by more great gamers just like you. So let's get on with the good stuff and play some Atari. Subscribe style. My grandmother used to play 2 Atari games with me, and one of them was Air-Sea Battle, also known as Target Fun under the Sears Telegames label. It's a carnival shooter where you drop bombs on ships from airplanes or shoot aircraft from below, plus it has a shooting gallery. It was one of Atari's launch titles, and it's a fun title that has really stood the test of time. If a kid and his grandma can play it together, it's a keeper and a game the whole family can play. You know, I never played Activision's Frostbite back in the day when I was a kid and didn't play it until it was recommended to me about 5 or 6 years ago. You play as Frostbite Bailey and your job is to build igloos by jumping on the ice floating on the river. But king crabs, geese, clams, and polar bears attempt to stop your igloo building. Plus the temperature can stop you too. Jumping back and forth across the ice floes, much like Frogger on the river, build your igloos block by block as the ice in the river changes from white to blue, building the igloo. It's a lot of fun and it can be challenging. Frostbite was a surprise to me and I'm sure you'd want it for your collection too. In 1986, Atari produced Junior Pac-Man, and I will tell you what, it's hard. The ghosts are much more aggressive, and it's a good thing they gave us a huge maze with a screen that scrolls back and forth. I have played this game many times, and I will tell you that I've never gotten beyond clearing 2 mazes. It's a real challenge, and if you're not an Atari enthusiast at all because you think the games are too simplistic, this one is the one that's going to change your mind. Junior Pac-Man is much closer to the game that Atari's Pac-Man should have been. I want to be upfront with you all. I capture all my Atari footage, including this Super Breakout footage, using my Hyperkin Retron 77 via HDMI output. Now, the Retron 77 does very poorly with paddle games. It's extremely hit or miss, as you can see here on the Retron footage. It works perfectly on all of my actual Atari 2600s, of course, and my paddles have zero jitter as I refurbished them myself. According to Atari, they tested Super Breakout on the Atari 2600 Plus, and it works just fine with paddles. Super Breakout is a brick-breaking game where you bounce the ball off the paddle at the bricks. It has many variants, and it's a wonderful title for your collection, and you should grab a copy for your Atari 2600. I'm just sorry I don't have good footage to show you. Parker Brothers made a more than decent port of Q*bert for the 2600. Q*bert is in the class of the first isometric video games ever. And as Q*bert, you jump up and down a 3D pyramid to turn the 28 cubes a different color by making contact with them. All the while you're being chased by different creatures attempting to kill you. Pretty typical in most video games. It's also possible to fall right off the pyramid. Also, Q*bert has escape discs at his disposal on either side of the pyramid. They help him escape certain death, and they transport him back to the top of the pyramid. The 2600 version isn't as pretty as its more advanced cousins on the 5200, 8-bit, or ColecoVision, but it's a great port nonetheless. In Turmoil by 20th Century Fox, your ship is trapped in a place facing 7 tunnels. You can travel vertically up and down a column that intersects the tunnels in order to shoot the enemies that attempt to crash into you. An orb can occasionally appear at the end of the tunnel, and if you act quick, you can grab it for a bonus. But if you're too slow, it will turn into a missile that will detonate upon impact. It's a very fast-paced shooter, hence the title Turmoil. Stargate, also known as Defender 2, published by Atari, is a fantastic game that looks almost exactly like the arcade game. What a fantastic port right here on the Atari 2600. But let's look at Atari's very own Atari 2600 Plus compatibility list. Wait a second, Defender 2 isn't even on the list. What about Stargate? Untested. Atari didn't even test their own damn game. Well, as great of a game as it is, we're gonna have to wait to see if it will work on the Atari 2600 Plus. So, since Atari was too lazy to test their own game, I will recommend a game that was tested instead. Spider-Man by Parker Brothers is the game that Crazy Climber for the 2600 by Atari should have been, and it's tested on the 2600 Plus as working. Yes, sirree, Bob. Yes, you play as Spider-Man, web-slinging your way up the skyscraper to catch criminals randomly moving from window to window, and you must reach the bombs at the top of the building planted by the Green Goblin. Catching criminals helps replenish your depleting web fluid. If you run out, you will fall to your doom. Reach the bombs at the top of the building before you run out of web fluid. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can, and does it better than Crazy Climber on the 2600. Mario Bros. Or Mario Brothers if you're from the other side of the fence. Yes, that's correct. Nintendo's Mario Bros. Is on the Atari 2600. It is the same game, albeit not graphically as awesome as the arcade version or the 7800 version or other ports, but it's the same game. Playing alone as Mario or co-op with Luigi, the two plumbers must chase turtles, crabs, fighter flies, and other icky creatures out of the pipes. Bonus stages offer you coins like the arcade game, and it's Mario Bros. On the Atari 2600. Come on! But if you want an even prettier game, grab it for the 7800. Either way, it's fun from Nintendo with love. Now, before you groan, I know it's a movie tie-in game, but hear me out. Gremlins for the Atari 2600 is 2 games in 1. On the very first screen, you are Billy catching Mogwai falling off a roof, kind of like Kaboom, in an attempt to stop them from eating hamburgers after midnight. When the wave is over, you go to a second screen to shoot the oncoming gremlins before they get you. The faster the game gets, the more the gremlins multiply. The game can get quite fast-paced and crazy, and guess what? It's a film tie-in, and it's a great asset for your Atari 2600 and for your 2600 Plus. I spent many hours playing Galaxian on my Atari 2600, and it's just a great port of the arcade game, period. The premise is that your starship is supposed to clear each wave of the attacking dive-bombing aliens. The different colors are worth various points, and if they are in flight when you shoot them, they're worth even more. Each color of alien also has its own flight and attack pattern, so they may slam into you if you're not keeping watch. Atari really knew what they were doing when they future-proofed this game way back in the 1980s. You know, there's a lot of great Atari 2600 titles that I may not have talked about, and I'd love to know what is a really great title that's not been mentioned in parts 1 through 4. Be sure you're subscribed to Game Closet so you won't miss out on future videos, and please hit the like button. You have no idea how much it helps out the channel and this video. Also, coming soon, there's an exclusive Atari 2600 Must-Have Games Part 5 coming just for Patreon members. Hey, thanks for watching, and feel free to share Game Closet videos on all of your favorite social media platforms. We will see you very, very soon. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please hit the like button because it helps the YouTube algorithm spread the video to more awesome people just like you. Subscribe for more here in Dr. Scott's Game Closet, and there's plenty more where this one came from, so click on a video for more video game shenanigans. We'll see you all very, very soon.